Hey, it's Arrow. We all know that buying a car can be a real pain. The question is, who's making it the big pain? Is it the customer or is it the salesperson? So what do you say we get unplugged and totally uncut with a man that started off in the parts department and has worked his way up into management? Basically meaning he's done it all, he's lived it all, and he's going to share with us the inside on how to get the biggest and the best deal and why it's the best decision. Big Al. How is the car business these days?
It's up and down. It's this 'tis the season. Everybody starts looking around for cars for gifts for their kids, and and everybody's starting to hold up and build up for next year. Because the first of the year, and plus you got the big companies that buy trucks, they wait till the end of the year. So
why do they wait to the end? It can't be for a tax break. What is the reason why people wait?
Well, because your incentives are not obviously, but are larger. Because you got the end of the year, you got 2013 models. You're approaching the 2014. So what they do is Ford gives you a bunch of rebates, and they truly cut off at the end of the year. And all these people that buy cars and the companies that buy trucks, they know this. It's kind of like the end of the month thing. Everybody thinks that, you can go and get this deal at the same time. What dealers do is, your performance through the month, you build up and you build up. You got your finance, you got your shop, you got your service, you got your parts, and they build up an amount of money. So deals that they normally would take in the beginning of the month, they'll take at the end of the month. If you got a car that's worth $2,000, they might put $3,000 in it. The car is still worth $2,000. It still shows a net loss of $1,000. But when you take it out of the bottom line, if let's say a dealership makes $200,000 at the end of the month, and they have a $50,000 wholesale loss, well, they still captured the market. They still captured that person. That person is still sitting there buying their product.
Is it true that the consumer these days is a smarter consumer when they come in?
Yeah, they're a smarter consumer through their researches, but some of their research is diluted by looking at so many different things and thinking that they're arming themselves with the right stuff, with not knowing the knowledge of it. Because let's be honest, how many times do you go out and buy a car? Maybe once every 3 years. We do this every single day of the year, and the acceptance of Sunday. We know what's going on. We can identify that customer when they're coming in. They got the pad and the paper, and they got this. I got JD by Ryder. I've got Edmunds. I've got this. I know that's not the real invoice. That's been bred into people for so long that they think that's actually the truth, and it's not the truth. We work by one invoice. We work by one price, and we'll give up everything to a customer. So a lot of times a customer will come in with a chip on their shoulder. Yeah. You just got to find a way to get that chip off their shoulder and just say, hey, look, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Yeah. But, and just by servicing them is how you really actually
How do you deal with a customer that does go a little bit overboard and starts making – you think of a car salesman, and I'm going to be honest with you now. People think of car salesmen as being lower than low.
Yep.
But yet you're the one that's going to put them on the road. You're the one that's going to change their life by getting them in a safer, better to drive car. But yet to them, you're in the way of them.
Well, I always try to, like I said, that chip on the old shoulder. I try to bring myself to a common ground with the customer. Which they read through the book. They say, don't let the salesperson get a common ground with you. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. Truth of the fact is when I look at a person, I look at what they're wearing. I look at how they're presenting themselves. I'll sometimes look at the back of the car and see what their bumper sticker is. And I just try to, I try to not mirror everybody, but I try to identify with what they're doing and what their cause is, and people want to argue with us, and the only reason why they argue with us is because they don't want us to take advantage of them, and we don't want to take advantage of anybody, And worst side of it is that when you come in like that, you really don't get assistance with every salesperson. I'll sit and try to talk with the customer and try to father them through the thing and try to tell them, look. This is what it is. This is the way it is. Here's what it's worth. You can go, to 10 dealerships. When you go to 10 dealerships, by the time you get to the 10th dealership, you're going to be within $100 of our dealership anyways. It doesn't make a difference.
It sounds like, get me if I'm crossing the line here, it almost sounds like that car salesmen are professionals. Yeah. And what I mean by professionals, it's no different than me being on the radio. It's no different than a professional being a professional football player. You guys are professional. You have an eye on the market. You know, and you can help people get into what's going on. See, now, I never even thought of as a sales rep how professional you guys really are. That it's not just a job because you didn't want to do Taco Bell on the overnight.
No, that is absolutely true, because I've been in the car business for a little over 21 years. And when I got in the car business, it was just after the recession. I was taught at a dealership all the wrong ways. And, I didn't know any better, so I followed those ways. But those ways now are gone. You can't do the things that you used to be able to do. Not that anything that I did was illegal, but, you have to know your Reg Z, your Reg M. You have to know all the laws. You have to make sure you're not breaking laws. You got to keep the privacy of the customer. You got to be able to talk to the customer.
Wow.
I mean, you have to do all that paperwork. Everything has to be processed in a timely manner. I spend, I broke it down the other day, about 6 to 7 hours on a customer. There's the initial meet and greet process of it.
Yeah.
It takes about an hour to just to meet and greet and talk, and find out what the customer wants. Then you go out there and show the customer the car. Then you drive around the block. Then you find out what their trade is worth. Then you present them with the price. Then you go back to the manager, tell the manager. Then you come back down and say, here it is. This is what we got.
So where's the push and shove then from that evil sale? Because we've all heard the stories. That salesperson pushed me into this. If you're spending 6.5 hours with a client, that's not push and shove. That's helping to guide.
Yeah, well, the push and shove is from the old days, like I said. Yeah. Would you, if I could, sign here? I'll go up, talk to my manager to see if he'll do it. At Performance, we're different. There's an open door. My manager keeps the door open. He's going to remove the glass. There's always, everybody thinks there's two sides of the wall. You go talk to that guy, find out what it is. All they're doing is coercing. We're not coercing. We're actually, when I talk to a customer, I'm trying to identify what they want to do. They're telling me what they want. I'm putting it in my head, and I have to remember it. But I talk to 5 or 6 customers every day. So I have to remember exactly what the customer is. I want to be $400 a month. I want an F-150, and this is what I want it to do. Or I want an SUV. This is what I want it to do. I have to be thinking all the time what's going on. And then I have to take knowledge from them, and then I have to go tell the manager that is dealing with, 20 salespeople, 15 lenders, 5 finance managers, the manager above him. But it's all about the customer, and we don't like to try to coerce people. But also, too, is sometimes people come to us with unsensible reality.
Right. Fantasy.
Fantasy. I want to be $200 a month on a 2014 Explorer, and I got $500 down, and my credit's less than perfect.
Right.
Okay. The old sales was, okay, great. I'll take your name and number next.
Yeah.
But there's not a customer standing behind a customer now. So you're dedicated. When you get a customer, you have to sit and take your time with the customer.
Yeah. I want to make you the customer. I want you to be the customer, and the customer is coming to you. So you're going to play 2 roles here.
Okay.
You're Al the customer, and you're Al the sales rep. What can I do as the customer to be better prepared to meet Al?
Well, what I always tell people is even though, people looking through guides and stuff, when you're looking up at these Edmunds and you're looking around for cars, first thing you have to do is find out realistically what a budget is. There's all kinds of things, tools to help you. There's auto calculators. First thing is everybody knows what their credit is. Okay? Know what your budget is and know what you want to look at.
And don't lie.
And don't lie. Don't withhold information from me, because it's just like, when you sit there with a customer for 2 hours, they come in and tell you, I don't want to be any more than $300 a month. I don't want to be $300 a month. They're there for 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, magically, we're at $300. That makes me upset with the manager. No, if you want to be $300 a month, I'm going to have to tell you, look, this is not going to work. I know you want the limited, but look at here. Look at this XLT. This is what's going to work. When I go out and purchase something, I pretty much look around. I know what I want, and I go get it. It's that simple. I don't waste time. I have never had to buy a car from a car dealership because I've always worked for car dealerships. My family friends have always owned car dealerships. So it's like, hey, Dad, I want a Mustang. Okay, we're going to go down to XYZ Ford. Go to XYZ Ford. There's the blue one. Here's what the list price is. Here's what they say I can get it for. And if the salesperson in the dealership is representing themselves properly, then you should be able to get to that deal rather quickly. You know, and I think you waste a lot of time when you when a customer tells you, you tell me the best you can do. That just sets up a stage of them being frustrated.
Can you answer me this? What you hear it all the time? We will not finagle you. What is that word? What do you mean finagle you?
Finagle, basically what it is, you know, you come in, you get that Foursquare. You know, you get what the price of the car is, you get what your trade is, your money down, 48 months, you know, a huge payment. What do you think? And all they're doing is they're setting you up to see what you'll actually pay. Okay, and that's finagling.
Okay. What about the disclaimers at the end of commercials? Help me understand what a doc fee is. What you're paying tax, tag. I don't understand that stuff. Because it almost sounds like this is a great deal, and then all of a sudden you guys are starting to add a bunch of stuff onto it.
Right. Well, the doc fee basically is
because I picture a doc in a factory. Is that what it is?
Right. No, it's documentation.
Okay. Well, see that. Okay, now I know.
Documentation. That's a proper paperwork process. It goes to DMV. It goes to the registry. Goes to the state government. Gets all your taxes set up. It's everything to get accumulated. You know, we take not a loss on every deal because the car dealership, they always tell you, well, we're losing money to sell this car to you. Well, I think that's probably the most ludicrous thing you could say to a customer. Because right then, it's like when you're telling a customer, I got to be honest with you. So what you're telling me is you've been lying to me the whole time. I hate that statement. You know, customers will make that statement to me and it'll drive me wild. Okay, great. Thanks for telling me. But, you know, it's just all the paperwork and everything has to be processed. You know, that's what it takes. It takes to do that. And that's, you know, some of the dealers, that's how they make some of their money. You know, there's lights, there's other things that are to take care of. We have salespeople that take care of, office people that take care of.
Plus, I'll bet you most people who buy cars don't realize that every day that passes that car's on the lot, you guys are basically renting that car. Is that not true? That car is costing you money.
Oh yeah, there is a fee. It's what is it called? Geez, you know, floor plan.
Okay.
You know, there was a guy that was here in town. He used to write a check when the car come off. Well, that's kind of crazy to write a whole check on a car because that car starts depreciating the time that it sits there.
Wow.
You know, and you know, if you buy a car that's hot, that's fresh, that's new, a used car that comes in, you know, then there's not a floor plan and it doesn't eat it up at the dealership. But let's take a car that's sitting at the dealership for 100 days. It's going to accumulate about $1,600. You know, and that's a lot of money, and that's part of where that stuff goes to keep the local dealer going. You know, you've had dealerships that are in the area that open for 3 or 4 years, and then they're gone, and then all their customers are gone. You know, basically take care of each other at that same point. You know, and you know, if you give a good explanation of a doc fee, I give a good explanation of a doc fee. I always tell customers it's a back office charge. You know, I don't get paid on it. You know, if I had to buy a car, I have to pay that doc fee at the same point. You know, you can't be prejudiced to not charge somebody a doc fee. Now, if we're working on the right deal, will I absorb that doc fee or help out with that doc fee? I will. You know, it's just all the way you take care of the customer.
Is a smarter customer the better customer?
A smarter customer is the better customer.
How does that person become smart with a World Wide Web that's always just, you can believe everything off the web? So how do they become smarter?
Well, how I always tell my people, just like I said before, is you do your research, find out what you want to look for a car. You know, and then go in and talk to a dealer. And if you like the dealer and you want to try to work out a deal with them, you go to one other dealer. Those two dealers are going to be within hundreds of each other. But what you are going to get when you go to two different dealerships is two different people. It all depends on when you come to me. You know, no matter what I'm going through, I have a smile on. You couldn't tell if I had something terrible going on in my life. I'm all about you at that point. I'm there to service you.
How much of it is showmanship?
Probably 70% of what I do is showmanship.
Showmanship, yeah.
Because, you know, a customer wants to buy from somebody that's enthusiastic, somebody that's knowledgeable, you know, and 30% of it's knowledge. You know, I've always said that.
Do you know your product, Al?
I know my product probably as best as I possibly, you know, that's out there for what's out there. You know, your transmissions, motors, tires, whatever there is to know about a car, I'll know it. And if I don't know it, I'll tell the customer, give me 1 second, let me gather that information. And I'll get it for a customer. But I try not to get myself in that situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, I want to be able to do this with you a lot. And the next time we get together, I want to talk about service and why it's so important for service and maintenance. And we'll think along the lines of the shooting for the people that aren't going to have a car or exchange cars for every 3 years. Those that go for 5 to 10 years and stuff. Unless you can handle that now. Okay,
But yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. We can set it aside next time. Obviously, I can talk about anything about the car business.
How important is maintenance? Honestly,
Maintenance-
I mean, maintenance meaning that I'm. People think that I'm gonna hit the local Firestone and get some maintenance, and maybe that's not it. Maybe there's other maintenance that needs to be done to that car.
Well, Firestone's only going to know the maintenance like tires and brakes. They're not going to get TSBs, it's warnings of cars. You have fusions, a bunch of fusions coming in with a problem. We get a recall or a claim, and what Ford does is it sets up, and there's VIN numbers, and it shows cars. You have a fuel problem. All of a sudden, it's identifying a bunch of fuel problems. Hey, look, you need to do this, you need to do that. If a customer would just maintain their car a little bit better, if they just took their car to a car wash, if you just kept your tires inflated properly, if you just kept the car clean of any debris, if you just took care of it like you actually wanted it, that two things going to happen. The car's going to run good, it's going to look good, and when you get ready to turn it to the dealer, they're going to be able to identify that. I can tell when a customer brings in a car that's got 50,000 miles on it that's been serviced. I can tell because it'll come in with good tires. It'll come in with good brakes. The body's not all beat to death. It's the car's in good shape.
So it's almost like get your eyes off the present and start thinking about the future when it comes to buying
That's
cars.
correct.
It's not just about buying right now.
That's correct. It gets it's nice to go to the Firestones and stuff like that because those guys do a good job. But when at Performance Ford, what we'd like to try to do is I always tell my customers, come back and see me every 5,000 miles.
Oh.
Come back and see me every 5,000 miles. We'll get an oil change done on your car. Every 2 times a year, we'll do a tire rotation. We'll change the cabin air filter. We'll change your air filters in your car. Check your brakes. We'll do everything for you. A safety check on the car. If you think there's a problem, drive in. I'll walk out and check it out with you and say, that needs to be taken care of. That's not proper.
Yeah.
Let that noise go. How many times have you let a noise go? Or that little feeling that you get. Turn the radio up. I don't hear it anymore.
Yep.
Those things aren't good for a car. If you just maintain it, you wouldn't just not take your child to the doctor every year for a checkup, and then all of a sudden be surprised in 5 years to find out that something was wrong that you could have prevented.
If you could change radio commercials on car commercials, what's the one thing you would change?
I would get rid of that. I would get rid of that fast talking disclaimer at the end. I know that legally that's what they got to do, but I think the consumer now has already been feel like they've been dishonored.
Yeah.
That they're lying. I don't think that you should throw those little things in there. Yeah. I don't think the new car industry should throw up a limited car and showing a base model lease because that's what does it to the customer. The customer is like, okay, I know it. Switch and bait and switch. Oh man, and it'll drive you crazy. Oh, you can get $189 a month on a Ford Fusion. Well, yeah, but tax blah 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 at the end of it. It's like, oh, what did you say? Just a good car commercial. Talk to the customer. There's too many things going on in the world and deception. If we just talk to each other and we're just truthful with each other, our world would probably be a lot better place.
All right, Big Al. That's it, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Big Al is at Performance Ford, South Boulevard in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we're going to talk a lot because I have a lot of car questions and I want to start getting under that hood and really making a smart consumer so that when they come to see the professional, then there's better communication.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you
Yes,
you
sir.
so much.